Good evening, kabayan. Nandito po tayo ngayon sa harap ng Jesus the Anointed One Church kung saan gaganapin po ang Cayman Island Breast Cancer Awareness Seminar. Napaka-importante po ito para sa karagdagang kaalaman para sa mga Pilipina, hindi lang sa mga Pilipina, ganoon na rin sa mga kababayan natin na Pilipino dahil ayon na rin sa Breast Cancer Foundation, meron din mga kalalakihan na nagkakaroon din ng breast cancer. So, importante po na makarating kayo para madagdagan po yung kaalaman natin sa mga naririnig natin ng mga stigma tungkol sa breast cancer at ganoon din po kahit sa pagpapamammogram. Sinasabi nila na masakit daw ang magpamammogram, kaya iniiwasan natin yan. Pero ang dapat nating malaman ngayon na tanggalin ko rin mask ko dahil nahirapan akong salita. Dapat po nating tandaan na ngayon po, sa panahon na ngayon, marami na po mga bagong teknolohiya. Meron na po tayong 3D mammogram na tinatawag. Hindi na po yan yung katulad ng mga unang panahon na sinasabi nila na masakit dahil napipipi yung breast. Pero nakapagpamammogram po ako sa CTMH, hindi po siya masakit, wala akong naramdaman, and maganda yung image na nakita dahil 3-dimensional na siya. So, tune in lang po kayo, mag-start na po maya-maya. Pwede niyo po tayong panoorin ng live, share niyo po ito sa mga kaibigan niyo, sa mga kamag-anak niyo. Ay, wala dito sa Cayman. Kung may time kayo, punta po kayo sa May Dorsey Drive, sa Jesus Anointed One Church. Nandito po kami, everybody's welcome. Yan po sila mga freebies sa mga mask and mga leaflets, and also mamimigay din po sila ng free mammogram voucher. Ayan po. Pwede po nyo yan, kung wala po kayong, hindi po covered ng insurance nyo ang mammogram, pwede po tayo magpa-routine mammogram. Free po yan sa CTMH, sa what else? Meron siyang sinabi. Sa Ocean Med, Bayshore Mall, also sa Georgetown Hospital. So, magandang pagkakataon po to, makakuha po tayo ng free mammogram voucher, and also madagdagan yung kaalaman natin about breast cancer. Asok na po tayo?
Yes, let's go.
And it turned out that it was breast cancer, which was quite a shock. I wasn't expecting it. I didn't at that time know of any family history. And I thought it was something that happened to old people. So it certainly took some time to get used to, and to try and get the proper treatments and understanding of what the condition meant and what it was going to mean for me for the rest of my life. My son Mason was 3 when I was diagnosed, 3.5, and obviously that was just hard in and of itself, but I was thankful that I already had a child in that sense. When it came down to how serious it was and needing chemotherapy and all of those treatments, I wish I would have thought about fertility a bit more. The doctors didn't bring it to my attention, which looking back is surprising. I was advised not to get pregnant until 5 years after I completed treatment. And I was also advised that I couldn't get pregnant. I definitely did want to have another child. So I looked into the reasons and I asked the doctor, why shouldn't I get pregnant? Will the baby be at risk? No, the baby won't be at risk. Will this bring breast cancer back? That was a big one. It still is a big trigger for me. Babies and breasts kind of go together, whether it's breastfeeding. So I was nervous to get pregnant. The doctor explained that it wasn't so much that that pregnancy would increase your chance of getting a breast cancer reoccurrence, but it is statistically most common to get a breast cancer reoccurrence in the first 5 years after. So they say to wait that time because say something did reoccur and you would need treatment, you wouldn't be able to receive that treatment while you're pregnant. So once I knew that it was just kind of like up to me of taking that chance kind of, and it wouldn't put the baby at risk in any way and wouldn't necessarily increase my chance of getting breast cancer again, then that's when I opened my mind to the possibility and kind of started exploring the idea of getting pregnant again.
One of my biggest treatments was certainly whether I'd be able to have children in the future. Obviously, I was very young. I was in the start of quite a new relationship. I knew that he wanted to have children, and so did I. And I was questioning, and a lot of people said, you know, maybe you won't be able to have children after treatments, after chemotherapy. And so at that point, I decided to have IVF treatment prior to my chemotherapy. It all happened very, very fast. I didn't have a lot of time to think about it or make a real decision, I guess. I just wanted to defer the choice until later on. I was very fortunate. I was able to get pregnant naturally after that, which I wasn't expecting at all. I think I've been told so many times that it wouldn't happen. I've been through the IVF. I've been through so many treatments with breast cancer, and I really wasn't expecting to have a natural pregnancy at all. So I was very, very pleased when I found out I was pregnant.
I feel happy that I'm pregnant. My husband and I, he, as I said, when the doctor said that I wasn't able to have a baby, he kind of looked at me and said, well, are you sure you want to try? Because he was full, he was not convinced that he couldn't get me pregnant, like as if it was, you know, up to him or something completely. And I said, well, I think that, you know, if we try and it, you know, it works out, that I'd be happy. And he, obviously he loves kids too, but he he wanted to make me happy, and he knew I wanted another child. And so he accommodated me and he was really happy. And like I said, I'm sure he feels pretty proud of himself somehow. He's taking the credit for this. Women who would like to get pregnant after breast cancer, I would say don't give up. I would very much suggest and advise to probably be more ahead about it before going into treatment, just to ensure, because you know it's not everyone may get pregnant naturally afterwards. So I would suggest to talk about it with your spouse or your loved ones. Consider it, whether some people aren't married or not, you know, or haven't had children yet. So that's like a future thought, or they may not be in a relationship, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to be anyone and want to have a child one day. These are the things that you really want to think about going into treatment, and to make sure that you have a plan and to consider. So, and as far as anyone who, you know, there's always the message of early detection and to ensure that you stay on top of your breast health, to keep abreast of your breasts, and to do your, you know, your monthly checks, and to make sure, and if you don't feel something's right, you know, just, it doesn't hurt to get the biopsy, it doesn't hurt to get the ultrasound. You just want to trust your instincts, always.
My advice to anybody that's recently been diagnosed is that there's a great chance of survival, and not just survival, but an opportunity to thrive after a diagnosis. Yes, it's very, very difficult. Yes, the treatments are extremely hard. Yes, you lose a lot, but you also gain a lot. You find new strength, you find new opportunities, you make new friends along the journey. And hopefully you come out the other side and you see the opportunities to take on life once again, to maybe take it in a different direction, to maybe appreciate things that you hadn't appreciated previously. For me, I've taken my health for granted, and that's something that I don't ever do anymore. Health is so important to me, family is so important to me, and I appreciate those things so much more having come through the breast cancer diagnosis, treatment, and surviving. People can always reach out to the Breast Cancer Foundation directly, especially regarding fertility advice, and they can point you in the right direction after a diagnosis. Among other things, they have so many resources available, and they're always willing to listen and help. And if they don't know the answer, they'll find the answer and always offer it to you.
is actually on the video that you'll see again in a minute, which was quite before the baby. Is it my fault?
Yeah, so, yeah, I just thought you might be interested to see that because, you know, it's something that's important to a lot of the younger girls that we have. And the ladies that we deal with, the majority are under 50. We have a whole lot of ladies in their 30s and a few in their 20s as well. So actually said, oh, you know, you're way too young. Let's keep an eye on that lump and we'll see you in 6 months. And obviously I never got the chance to meet Brenda, she'd been passed for a while. Kim still gets very upset when he talks about that because he wonders if that 6 months would have made a difference. But back then, you just, you know, like the girls said, we push and push, go with your instincts. And I'm sure Brenda had the same feeling. But back then in the 90s, a lot of ladies here didn't talk about breast cancer because it had breast in the title. It was a very private thing, they kept it to themselves. Brenda did her best before she passed away. She passed away at 36. To get that message out that it's nothing to be ashamed of, it's not your fault. And that if you notice any changes, you've got to do something about it. So that's the background of why we were formed. We started off properly in 2009. Most of the money the first few years were given to the Cancer Society for their financial aid package that they do for breast cancer patients. Did we meet 50% of that cost? And we still do. That's something we still do. The Lions Club of Tropical Gardens have a Brenda Tibbetts walk every year, and we sponsor that to help them raise funds for what they do during October, which is the meetings around the island, giving out mammogram vouchers. We do have our own mammogram voucher system, which we run all year round, which I'll give you the information about today. So, 2016, a year after I started, they had, it actually was a young woman, local girl that went to America to have a treatment. While she was there, she was offered a lot of holistic treatments to help her get through her chemo, you know, all the side effects of that. She came back here and noticed there was zero for anybody help getting through treatments. In fact, there was no one to guide you to any treatments. It was literally you were diagnosed and you were on your own. So, talking to her, she did a couple of fundraising for us and got us off the ground with the Wellness Programme. And basically our foundation has grown from there. We were in the back room in Remax. Whereas now we've got our own place at Grand Harbour next to Papa John's Pizza. So we have the only bra, special bras and prosthetics swimwear in the Caribbean, no one else. It's fully stocked. So if you need anything, once your surgery has happened, we've got all that for anybody who needs it. There's also the surgical vest right after surgery, things that you're not usually covered on a lot of the insurance policies. I don't know why. Not. For me, my best friend did pass away with breast cancer in England, and I saw what she went through, and I was quite close to the breast cancer unit in my hometown. And basically, they are my inspiration. It's the NHS, obviously, so it's all free. But I wanted the exact same services available to women going through breast cancer here, and some men as well. So free available here, and that's what we strive to do. I think we're about there now. Everything that they do, For example, if you're diagnosed in England, you get a breast care specialist nurse. She liaises with everybody for you. Gets all the services. If you don't call CAP, which is the system we bought for all hospitals, we keep your hair. If you're having chemotherapy and you don't want to lose your hair, then we do have the cold caps now. So we brought them here. Things like lymphedema. Here, the normal way for a mastectomy was usually a radical mastectomy. The doctors are obviously trying to save your life. It's not the way they do it in other parts of the world, but they do it here. And when I say radical, that means the breast, your muscles, your lymph nodes, because they don't have the machine that will detect the nearest lymph node. So in England, normally they would take that lymph node. Is it cancer there? No. Let's test the next one just in case. If it's not in that one, no need to do any more. Whereas they don't have that facility, so they'll take all the nodes and test them afterwards. And it's very frustrating when you hear, you know, it took 18 lymph nodes and they're all negative. Yeah, really. That can lead a lifetime of problems. Lymphedema, which is, from having the lymph nodes removed. A massive thing for men as well, prostate cancer, because they have the lymph nodes removed here in the groin, and that causes the swelling of the legs. So there was no one to treat anyone here when I first started at the foundation, and I soon found that out. So, anyway, long story short, the foundation a grant for anyone who's a physiotherapist. We don't usually offer it to nurses purely because in Cape Town, if someone has lymphedema, you've got to be seen an hour every single day for about a month just to get it under control. No nurse on this island has got that time. So it's the physios that we can work with. And I think we've trained 7 now. They've gone off island, and it's a big commitment for them. They've gone off island and trained and come back. So no one here now should be suffering from lymphedema because it's a very, very debilitating and painful condition. So that's some of the things that we do, as well as all the wellness. Anybody who comes to us, if they're worried about breast cancer, worried about signs of breast cancer, that's what we're here for. We can guide you through. We've got your back, so we do not give up until, and you'll hear from the video with Holly. Who's very outspoken because she had to go back many, many times. That's the blonde-haired girl who's just had the baby. She's on the next video. She had to fight for herself. And a lot of the young girls, they do have to fight for themselves because they get dismissed because, well, you're too young, could be something else. So I'm going to get off the stage now, I'm going to let you watch the video and then I'll come back and then any questions obviously you've got for me, and I'm going to answer them.
I was 28 years old.
I was 31.
I was 20 years old.
I was 45.
I was 17 when I first found the lump, and at age 24, I noticed a change and was diagnosed.
It happened one day, a random day. I was just showering and I felt this lump in my breast. Didn't have any pains. It caught my attention because it's not normal to have a lump in your breast at 28.
Found my own lump. I found the tumor and it didn't feel right. And at first they were saying it was a benign cyst, like my past benign cyst. And that's my advice to young people as well, is to trust your instincts, know your body. If you don't feel something's right, go back for a first, second, third opinion. Keep pushing until you get to the bottom of it.
Easter season, I felt a little lump, like the size of let's say a bean. No pain, no signs of having any problem, absolutely.
I found a lump in my right breast, and I did get it checked out, but it passed off as a cyst. So
But I did get a few opinions because I definitely thought that something wasn't right with it.
Having met with the doctor, he decided that everything was fine based on the results of the mammogram, the 3D mammogram, everything was fine with me. So I asked if he would do ultrasound, and he said there was no need for one. And after speaking to him a few times about it, he said yes, we could do an ultrasound. Having done the ultrasound, they detected a change in shape of a lump in my right breast, but everything was normal in the left breast. And I was not happy with that, and I ended up seeing that breast specialist a total of 4 times. And the last time he said I just needed to see the dermatologist because it was just a lump in a pool. I was able to see the dermatologist after much trying, and she took one look at it and she said, well, she kind of arched her head, and I said, are you thinking about it? And she said yes. And I said, are you going to do a biopsy? And she said yes. So she did. The results came back saying it was Paget's cancer.
It wasn't until I was 23 years old that I had to return to the doctors because something definitely wasn't right, and that's when I was properly diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer.
I wish I would have known that men could get breast cancer. I wish I would have known how much of a life-changing event this was going to be. I wish I was more proactive.
After GP or OBGYN, whatever doctor you're seeing, if you feel something suspicious, to have them examine it as well and give you their feedback. And then move to an ultrasound, and from there you move to the biopsy stage.
As soon as the doctor discovered it was breast cancer, we went straight into treatment. It was full-on chemotherapy. We started with hormonal therapy, we did chemotherapy, and we did surgery.
When I was first diagnosed, to the first day of my surgery, even the second day, I said, I will know how to fight. And I asked myself to kindly and say, take it one day at a time and go for it and fight it. And here I am today.
I did a double mastectomy first. And I did chemo, 6 rounds of chemo and 25 rounds of radiation. I had some very good people around, especially from the wellness program, like Cancer Foundation. They were totally supportive. Life after breast cancer. It's great. Some days it's tough, but I have the support. Now I'm happily married. I have a miracle baby. She's 2 years old. She's the best thing that has ever happened. And it's just proof that there's life after cancer. When you take time to find the right treatment, speak to the right doctors, you can move on. Still, you're in recovery, you're still afraid, but it's okay, because that's part of the healing process. I'm in remission, and I think that's going to continue. And as it relates to just going forward, I still have a lot of support from the Breast Cancer Foundation, the wellness program, with counseling, and just the foundation offers me a forum so I can freely express myself and share how I'm feeling with people who are actually going through the same thing. So how am I doing? I think I'm doing very well with the help that I've been given.
If something doesn't feel right, trust your instincts. Don't give up. Make sure that you get to the bottom of it. Until you get a biopsy that says benign, completely safe, nothing, that you are completely healthy, then you're really not sure. So it's really important. It doesn't matter how old you are, 15, 18, 25, 30. If something isn't right to you, do not let anybody deter you, whether it's a family member or friend, say, oh, that's nothing. And also don't be deterred by fear. You have to, early detection will will save your life.
Yeah, it's being proactive about your health. You see something, if you feel something wrong, you feel a lump or whatnot, don't wait, months or years for me and so to go actually be proactive and tell the doctor. And if you're not comfortable with what the answers that you're getting, go to somebody else. Get second opinions, third opinions, fourth opinions, whatever it is until you feel comfortable with your health. It's your body, it's your life. Live it.
So I must say I am the first in my family, both my mother's side and my dad's side. So I'm the first one. It's not to say, well, it happened to dad or mom or whoever. I'm the first, so there should be something we could learn from there.
Just make sure to stay on top of it, do your self-examinations, eat healthy, online read. A lot of people will say, don't go, oh, the internet has too much. Make sure, you're looking at reputable websites, but there's a lot of information out there for people. So take advantage of it. It's like one doctor gives you one advice, don't be afraid to go for a second opinion or a third.
My message to the future generations, the girls out there, young girls between 15, 28, 30. If you feel anything that isn't right with your body, find someone to talk to. As simple as knowing your body can change everything. There's a Breast Cancer Foundation, a group of ladies who will be more than happy to help you. If you're underage, look for a person who can help you, your mom, your aunt, a teacher, a best friend, and you can seek that attention if you can. If I had to go back in time, it would have never taken 2 months to go back to the doctor. If you feel something, early detection is the key. That way, if you feel something, you go to the doctor, you're not worried anymore. It can be quite scary because you don't want to hear that it's cancer. It can be anything, but it's better safe than worry, right?
If you detect something wrong, if you discover that there's something different with your body, you know your body better than anyone else. You need to have it investigated. And do not just brush it aside saying tomorrow it's going to be better or whatnot. Have it investigated. And there's nothing that compares to an early diagnosis.
Don't give up on your fingertips. The mammograms that you have could tell some things. You're feeling, you study your body and know what's normal, what we're used to feeling, from what appears different as we go.
Go see a doctor, talk to somebody about it, and if your diagnosis is suggesting that you do have cancer, just go with it. And you'll be thankful that you did that in the end. So don't be afraid. Having a cancer diagnosis is not the end of the world. The times will be challenging as you try to deal with it, but it's not the end of the world, so you can do it. And there is support if you need it from Breast Cancer Foundation, and with that, you can do a very good job.
Why we need care is because by the time we normally figure it out that something's bad, something's wrong with us, it's too late, and it can metastasize into more cancers throughout the body, and sometimes it can be too late for men.
If I could talk to my 20-year-old self, I would tell myself to continue to be proactive about my health, continue to be persistent when I feel like something is wrong, because at the end of the day, I did accept that, everything I was told was right and it wasn't right. So I would definitely say just, if you feel something is wrong, trust your gut and go with whatever your mind is telling you. And this doesn't only affect women and girls, like breast cancer can affect boys and men as well. So this message goes to everybody. I'm Dr. Laura Cooper, one of the breast surgeons at City of Hope. Today I'm going to talk to you about self-breast examination. Around 8 out of 10 women detect breast cancers or breast lumps themselves. Therefore, it's important that every woman understand the basics of a self-breast examination. There are actually two components, look and feel. For the first part of the exam, looking, you want to stand or sit in front of the mirror. With your clothes off, you want to look at both breasts to see if there are any differences between the two. Examine the nipples to see if there's any difference between the two. Is one redder than the other? Is one pulling in? Then you want to put your hands on your hips and turn from side to side to see if there are any changes. While standing, you actually want to put your arms forward on your hips because this will bring out lumps that might not appear otherwise. It's important to raise both arms above the head. This will draw out any puckering or dimpling for masses that might be underneath the nipple. If you're standing like this and you have masses kind of in the lower part, you might not see it at all. When you raise your arms, what happens is that mass kind of stays and then the skin kind of pulls in as you're pulling up. That was the first part of the examination. For the second part, you want to be lying down. You want to put your head on a pillow to prop yourself up and place one arm behind your head. Then with your other hand, you want to use your first 3 fingers. When you use only 1 finger or 2 fingers, you can actually separate the breast tissue and think that you feel something that isn't there. You can do this one of 2 ways. You can either go in a circular motion all the way around the breast, making sure that you overlap every area, or you can go up, down, all the way across. I prefer the circular motion, from the collarbone to the sternum or mid-chest, below the breast, and then all the way actually out into the underarm. Lymph nodes are underneath the underarm, and sometimes those can become bigger. When you're doing the breast examination, you're looking for things that feel different from the surrounding tissue. What you're looking for is something that stands out, something that feels like a pea or a marble or a walnut. You want to make sure that you do this examination same time each month. Remember, the most important thing about a breast self-examination is to know your breast. That way you can note any changes and alert your doctor.
One more.
No, that's it.
Okay.
Does any questions? Anybody's got any questions for me?
So you can go ahead.
Do you want me to go back in there?
Yeah.
You know, the pregnancy, because all those girls, they all feel something. They all say, if you're not happy about what you're told, and you feel there's something wrong, get a new opinion, get something to look for. They all say it, and we feel them completely independently. So just a message to everybody. So any questions about, anything more about the foundation, about what we do? Or any questions about the videos? Or, you know what, or if you want to speak to me privately after something like that, you know, if you prefer to ask the questions in private, then I'm going to hang around for a little bit, so you can definitely ask me then. Basically, what we do, you know, obviously, if someone is, you know, diagnosed, then we it's the inner strength that most women do have. And we see that, and then we see that the journey carry on, and then obviously we never say goodbye, they're with us forever. Because we do sport groups, so like the girls here, we'll do videos for us and stay involved, and most of those girls that come to the art therapy, and it's just a way of being with other women who've been through the same thing, and that matters a lot, because the consequences of having breast cancer are for the rest of your life. Keep an eye on yourself, but also the side effects as well. And some of the ladies are on tamoxifen, or one of the similar drugs, which is a hormone blocker. If you've got a hormone positive breast cancer, which is quite common in young women, you're on that for 10 years. So that brings about like a rheumatism, in your joints. And it does get better after the first year, but it never totally goes away. So you think that for 10 years. And I spoke to a lady just the other day. She's still on the drug. She's still going through different aspects of her journey, but she's finished the main treatments, the mastectomy, the reconstruction, the chemotherapy. And she said to me, I feel like I want my friends to realise that I'm not Julie that's back to normal, nothing's wrong with me. They all, I'm still going through it. I'm in pain both sides with my joints because of this medication. But then I also don't want to be annoying me. He's like constantly saying to her that nobody wants to spend time with it because I'm always saying, I'm not well. She just want them to feel a little bit of understanding towards how I feel. But other breast cancer survivors do exactly that. So that's why the small groups are really important. It does mean long hours for them and my staff. That's Pam, who's on the video. We had a local baby. She now works for us part-time, and she's expecting her second baby. Yeah. And then there's Lorraine, who's full-time, and myself. But obviously, for me, we all do work, but we all have patients on a day-to-day basis. But obviously, my responsibility is the legal part of the foundation, which is that's it. I'm raising all the funds because we're all getting government assistance every dollar that we spend, which is about $500,000 a year now, and we have nearly 300 patients. It all has to be raised, so I've got to concentrate on that, especially at the moment with COVID. It's pretty difficult. We're off, and we all want to stay safe. But at the end of the day, I need to also get some money. So, working, outside my usual parameters to get that money in. There's a lot of generous people in this house, thank goodness. A lot of people willing to put themselves out to raise funds for us. I don't know about you all, I think we all know someone who's had breast cancer. Everybody usually when I speak to them, either a relative or a friend or a colleague. It's scary, especially here. And we've had one lady, so the General Cancer Society, obviously I'm very with, she always said something, I thought, that's a little harsh, but she said that the best time for cancer is always the best time, is mid-year. And I thought, what do you mean? She said, because your insurance has only got to go until December. And so it only going to stretch that far. Whereas if you're in January, you've got a whole 12 months to spread that money out. Because, I've been here a long time, but we originally from England, I didn't come into it, we had the NHS, so nobody goes broke because they're sick in England, which is something I feel we should have here. We're getting a 12 years, you can't change anything, but yeah, it just go against everything that I feel. That you can go broke. Or two ladies at the same time, just at the end of 2020, they didn't have any funds left in their insurance to finish the chemotherapy. And it was a lot of money. And we already spent a lot of money. And the Cancer Society they've gone to that limit now too. So that's what me and that generous people decided, because I just thought this cannot happen. So I wrote to a particular supporter, and he in turn wrote out to his friends, and within 5 days I had 50,000. And that was enough to pay for this particular lady's treatments to be finished and to actually go towards one of the lady's treatments. But, you know, that's what we have to do, because what's the alternative? You know, I don't think it's a choice, you've got to do what you've got to do. But we have some ladies that just, you know, they don't want anything from us in particular, they just want to come in and I don't know if you've been to our centre, as some of you are know, but it's a table, there are 2 sofas, it's very comfortable, it's not an office environment at all, and it's done that way on purpose, so people come in, they feel comfortable, and they can just sit and chat to us. And we do have some ladies that are over their treatments, doing well, but sometimes they have those really, really bad days, the scary days. So they'll just come in, have a cup of tea, just sit and have a chat with us, and hopefully go on the way for the rest of the feeling a little bit better, because that's what we're there for. It's every aspect, it's the brass tacks of the treatment to just a chat and we're there for you. Yeah, we also assist anybody. One of the first things we do when we first meet someone and they're diagnosed is ask what they're, you know, if they're married, if they have a partner, because that's key for us, because it's quite common in J-Man, I don't know why, you know, but it causes splits. I can see there's lots of reasons why splits might happen. Things might be a little rocky before, or the character doesn't know how to cope with, you know, a wife that's really sick. But we need to get, so we start straight away in trying to offer support to both of them. Also with his children, because how do you tell the children without fighting them to death? How do you tell the children without them thinking if they're young that it's their fault somehow? So we deal with all aspects of anything to do with breast cancer. So this, and if anybody came on and said, well, I've heard this is good for you, then we would make our own investigations and have our own medical advisor. So, and that's how we build the wellness program, by finding out. I didn't know masses. Yes, I was there for my best friend, I didn't know something about breast cancer, but that was 18 years ago, maybe in England, and things have moved on so much more. And the treatments are so better that, you know, that people are living now. Like poor Renee, she survived 9 years as a very young breast cancer survivor, which a few years ago would be unheard of. For me, it's frustrating the fact that she was, you know, I didn't know about when she was diagnosed, she was only 20. That she was not diagnosed at that time, because the fact that she lived with, once it had spread to her bones, the fact that she did carry on and live for 9 years, and she was one of the strongest young women I've ever met in my whole life. She may have survived, she'd be here today. But, you know, she didn't. So that's why she and I talked about not that long before she passed away. She made me promise that we would keep her message going, and that's exactly what we want to do, because it's so important. You know, the view of the lens that it's not one person's disease. It might have been, I'm not sure when, but it might have been, but the youngest breast cancer patient in the world was 3. There was a young girl in America that had a lung mastectomy at 7, about probably 3 years ago. So there is, if there's something wrong, you just need to get to the bottom of it. You need to keep pushing until you get the all clear. And it might be, it has to be to the biopsy stage, but so be it. What's the alternative? Just take a chance that, well, I think it's alright, so I'll just leave it. No, you can't. You just can't. Stage 4 breast cancer is not curable. You can be treated and you can stay reasonably okay, you're in constant treatment, you can never come out of treatment. But stage 1, 2, and 3 are treated and curable, and you can go on. So that is the key of the early detection. So I can't say that strongly to everybody. I thought breast cancer to me, before I came here, before I was involved with the foundation, meant death. Because my best friend died. So I thought that's what it meant. And I can tell you the last 6 years has told me that it definitely is not what it means. It means early detection, you can be treated, cured, and go on with your life and have children and family carry on. You know, it's horrible, yes. I can't take that away. The treatments are horrible. But you can get through them. And what will you do? So, yes.
How is it
Is it that expensive to do early detection?
Because the early detection is your free
So it's free.
examinations you do your own examinations every month. And that, what I'm talking to you as well, because guys, the only thing that's different about your breast is you can't breastfeed. There's nothing else is different. You've got the same tissues, and you can get breast cancer just the same as anybody else in this room. And if you have a mother or a sister that had breast cancer at an early age, something around 40, then your chances of getting breast cancer as a man go by 17%. So you just have to know your family history. It's the same for most women. I just had the PCR1 and 2 BRCA genes. I just had that test and I am negative, thankfully. It still doesn't mean I'm not going to keep an eye on myself because it's just one of the factors for breast cancer. But you need to know your family history. If you get the chance to do the gene test, if you've got a few members of your family, close family, that have breast cancer, then you should be asking for that test. Don't forget that's not your wellness part of your insurance, which is that big, like $200 if you're lucky. This is on a different part of your insurance, and if you've got full close family history, you should be allowed to have that gene test. And again, if you are positive, it's not all that's it then you're going to get breast cancer. It's not. It just means you need to keep a close eye on yourself and the lady next to you that is not positive for that gene. Because you're also susceptible to cancer of the womb as well. That's why I think they call it the Angelina Jolie effect, because she had that gene. So she decided, quite bravely I think, to do a dual mastectomy, a hysterectomy, to take away the risk of her getting either of those cancers, because she is positive for the BRCA1 and 2 genes. It is quite a drastic decision. Because we have so many ladies that have been tested and not positive for that gene. So you don't want to ever take the gene test and then go out fine because I haven't got that gene. You still got to keep an eye on yourself. And if you're here and you felt there was a problem and you didn't get any satisfaction, like Angela, 4 times back to the doctor. 4 times. She knew what breast cancer she had. It's called Paget's, it's rare. She knew. She looked it up, she Googled it, she saw all the symptoms. The breast cancer specialist, she called and signed on with it. She had to get to the dermatologist. And she said she had to fight to get an appointment too, because they were going to put her down the line about 3 months. And she made an appointment, made her bring it forward. And the dermatologist knew straight away. So that's 5 doctor's visits. So we are happy for anybody, any doctor, to simple for anybody to say, no, she's not happy, she needs a blood test. Because, doctors, I'm not saying they do it on purpose, but they'll look at your age and everything else and say, oh, no, you're not high risk. It's not their life, it's yours. So you need to look out for yourself in this life. Eleanor, the older lady, she's a nurse. So she's the one that she said about doing self-examination. She's been strict about those all her life. She's in her early 70s now. She's still working as a nurse, keeping herself busy. I think she'd be home otherwise, but she's still here because that was a lifetime habit for her. I was taught at 19, and I do remember thinking, oh, let's show you this for this little ways back. I'm 19, but it isn't. It's a lifetime. And if your children, your daughters, you need them to know, because that's how you keep them safe. Just seeing through the hormones, with the food that we eat, and the chemicals, and all of that seem to be breast cancer on the increase. So we need to all talk to our children and make sure that they, we're not scared, obviously, but just make them aware to look after themselves and do something if something is not right. Because that's how they'll survive. I feel like I'm still going to keep saying that, but I can't say it enough. You've got to look after yourself and know when something's not right. And we're there to help. So, we've got our numbers on all those brochures I've just given you.
I am actually having hereditary breast cancer. grandmother at age 50, she was diagnosed with a 2 breast cancer and totally removed. So she was survived until 23 years. Now, 3 years ago, my older sister, diagnosed with a breast cancer stage 2, and she undergo 8 times of chemotherapy. By this time, she undergo the radiation, and then all tests undergo until the cancer cells will totally not turn into stage 3 or something. So that's why I am very much interested to join the seminars today to be aware of myself, because I actually went to the Royal Medical Center last month. So I went there for pap smear and everything. And also, 7 years ago, I went to the doctor for my totally hormonal imbalance, the general checkup. So it was found out that I have a prolactin 2 high, double triple high. But then I went to the Royal Medical Center. Then I did the test. It was fine now, because they said that I just need a rest for that stressing work. So I was working in the hospital for 15 years. So maybe I was just. But now they tried to ask one of the doctor, Dr. Ion, asking me to do a mammogram. So since my insurance are done and everything, so I was decided to do it back in Philippines. I have the chance to go home by July. But then I got the opportunity here because it's really killing me. I paid $430 for just the mammogram test. No, but they say again, you do it again over and over again, but I can't.
Well, that's what we're going to do.
Can't.
But that's what we're
So that's why I was still really interested in get free, like, but I pay. My bill is $700.
Is that now? Is that right now?
Yeah, it's months ago. So, so I was just hoping that, I can get some tests, more tests, whatever, because it's out for every Saturday. So it might be possible 75% for me. And I do some my personal tests, and I went to some doctors. He couldn't find any, but then I never did mammograms. So my sister, older sister, yeah, sis, and my cousin. So totally the entire family, they, yeah.
And you could be the one that doesn't, but you don't know, and you've got to keep up with those tests. So how long ago was that mammogram?
No, I never did
You don't
anything for now because they just asking me to do it, and payment was done.
So you've got our number now, so you can call them.
Yeah, because they did another test, it's different tests, and until that they wanted me to do a mammogram. So the other test was fine, okay, everything is okay. So they say that you have to do the mammogram.
We do mammogram and the ultrasound actually, so you can get both of those. So that then will cost anything. So you just need to, you've got the card, so just give us a call. And we're going to deal with all that, and she will just sort that out for you. So, because most people will this part, but insurance doesn't cover them anyway.
I don't really feel anything.
No, but it's better to
But
say
it's
that.
just said that, didn't it?
Yes.
I heard that before it's better to be safe and sorry. The mammograms now, and it's very quick. Slight discomfort
Well,
for 5 seconds, not even.
friend, she called me, but she's not around. She actually asking me where is the place, and then I told her, but she's not around here. She feels right now like she feels pain, totally pain, and she has also hereditary, but she's not around today. So in case I would call her.
You'll take the brochure, the leaflet abroad, you'll take that to her. Potentially more.
So,
I have also one question. If you already had a mammogram test, I understand that you have to
be like after a year or two for follow-up mammogram. But my
Yeah, they'll tell you actually when you've got your mammogram results, they'll either say 1 or 2 years. If you've got busy breasts, so they might say 1 year, but usually it's 2. If you're healthy, there's nothing wrong, they say 2 years.
because I have benign fibrosis cyst. And then my concern is the mammogram can be like 100%.
It is normally, you've got the type of breast you've got, then I would say, have the mammogram, also have the ultrasound. Ultrasound can tell instantly if between a cyst and a tumour.
Well, I do have the ultrasound,
Yeah.
and then I got also the mammogram.
Yeah, that's what, you're
So-
doing exactly the right thing.
So, am I like doing the right thing
Yeah.
that I'm safe? I
Yeah.
don't have to be
No,
going
you don't have to.
paranoid of everything.
No, because where do you have your, I mean, they're all, there's the 3 machines we use, which is Ocean Med, Georgetown, and
I
Doctors.
have the building which is next to Lloyd for the ultrasound. Next to Lloyd. Dr. Medlab.
Well, they're same. No, because
It's
the
the
doctor
new
doesn't
building,
have the
it's like-
ultrasound, but they will pass you on the next.
It's a building there.
No, it's in the same place, but on the other building. On the other building.
Right. Okay, so I don't know that. Hopefully we can work with them, but all I will say is that's who you've been to, stick with them. Because when you have the next one, they'll have the previous to compare. Yeah, we had a lady called Steve Gardiner, and her mum was diagnosed in her early 40s. So because of that, and her mother survived into her 80s. She had breast cancer 3 times, but survived every time. She started her mammograms at 34 because of her mother. So she got to 39, and it's only the speck that they found, it was a speck, was only possible because she had a mammogram at 38 compared to 2. So she had lumpectomy and radiation that was not survivable. Obviously she's at 60 now, she'll be worried. But yeah, that's the key. Once you being somewhere, you stick with them. So it's a shame because that we only work with the 3, which is Ocean Med, Georgetown, and Doctors. But I'd be interested to
Yes, I
talk to that one.
Yeah.
Because
The ultrasound that I have, ano yung building na yan?
It's a building and then this is
Lloyd.
Lloyd.
And then the following.
Yeah.
Lloyd and the following. Opposite, yeah. No, you're not going to go across. It's the same block with Dr. Lloyd.
Just
It's
a
a new
different-
building.
When you're facing Lokloy,
Yeah.
this is the Lokloy, right? This building. But you need to turn.
Yeah. I just forgot the name of the building. Yeah, it's a new. Yeah. No. That's ultrasound where I got my ultrasound. My mammogram, I got it from CTMH.
is it a young guy that's had that? Or has that place? I don't know. I think I've been there.
Yeah.
I think I went there with Holly, it was on video one time. But we do, I work with Kevin Clinic, we do ultrasounds as well. Ginny Hopkins, our medical advisor, so we have that team. I believe that Health Citizen have got on a mammogram machine now, but I've not met the doctor with the yet. I mean, bear in mind, this is tiny island. When I first started at the foundation, we had one oncologist, Dr. Ward, came from Jamaica 2 days a month to Georgetown for hundreds of patients, and she was a hematologist as well. So you could wait 3 months after a positive mammogram just to get an appointment. It was pretty dire. But now, I think we've got 7 oncologists on certainly a specialist breast reconstruction plastic surgeon doctor that's online as well now. So, we're very well. So we have a PET scanner as well, which you used to always have to go online for a PET scan. That's a very in-depth scan that you would normally have as a cancer survivor. Because if you've got one cell in your body, one cancer will be killed. So we've got that too.
It's expensive.
It is.
Well, we do work with them and they do give us a special rate. So if that's part of your diagnostic, part of your insurance, or normally that's a, bigger than your wellness part, that covers your mammograms and your ultrasounds. You don't forget your wellness, so covers your doctors, your dentists, any doctor's appointment you might have for whatever ailment, that's part of the wellness.
So given that we have the 7 oncologists here in the island, does it mean that breast cancer can be treated or taken care
And
of?
we've got 3 chemotherapies.
No need to go to the States or...
The only thing we get with the chemotherapy units here, all 3 hospitals have them, and they're all very good. The only thing we don't have is radiation. You've got no choice but come off the radiation. There's,
no radiation here.
No, Health City said that this new hospital at Carmel is going to have a radiation unit, which will be fantastic, because then there's no need for anyone to go, because now, 6 to 8 weeks of radiation, you just walk around. So at the moment with COVID, you're on your own. You've got to feed yourself. You obviously know you can come in because you're wherever in Miami, or some people go to Jamaica as well. But I think at the moment it tends to be Miami. But it's still 6 to 8 weeks. Radiation has pretty horrible side effects too, not dissimilar to chemotherapy. So you need that support. It's not really with radiation patients. But again, those treatments are getting better. We've had 2 women just walk island to Cleveland Clinic, one of the other hospitals, and what they did is they did a lumpectomy and they implanted a radiation pellet into where the tumour area was. That was it. That was it. That was no going back. That's their radiation treatment. Came back to me. Couldn't just do within 2 weeks. So that's how things are getting better. We've got a doctor, Sanjay Awasthi, at Doctor's Hospital. He is an oncologist with many years' experience, and he's also a scientist, so he's working on the cure. Talking to him gives me so much hope of where they're up to in their research at the moment. Another decade, we could be, no one's dying of breast cancer. That's what he feels. So when I talk to him, I believe him. He's very confident. And he said, his exact words were, there'll be no tablet, no radiation, no chemo, there'll be a tablet. He says, no one will die. And he's the one doing the research. We're going to have to, I hope he's right. That would be pretty awesome. The immunotherapy treatments, they haven't found any real successful ones at the moment. Not the latest, it's how immunotherapy is where the drugs teach your body to kill the cancer cells. That's how it works, basically. That's the very layman's term about immunotherapy. And it's just doesn't seem to be working for breast cancer. Because there are a few ladies at stage 4, and that was their last option. Something didn't work. It could be something that works at early stage. Who knows? I don't know. All I can tell you that I do feel hopeful as things are moving on. But in the meantime, and even then, it's the early diagnosis that matters 100%. So just look at yourself.
During our meeting, you have mentioned to us that there's been already an alarming number of Filipinos that have
Yes, there is.
cancer. So our group were just thinking, of course, how can we help our fellow Filipinos? First, prevention, and then what information dissemination that we can provide them to encourage them to undergo the test, do the regular mammograms, or visit their OBGYN.
Everything you just said, because if I can't afford the mammogram, it's not covered by insurance, is not a reason there, because we've always had this program. They can just come to us and get the voucher. And it has to be once a year, it's once a year. It's not just what matters to us is that they get a test and the self-examinations, because the Filipino ladies that we know and we are helping are all fear because I think it's,
It
you know,
is.
it is.
I
because
have experienced myself because I have an operation where it's like it's a fibrocystic and it's benign. But it's true what you have said and people on the video have said. It's your gut feeling that tells you. I have a couple of checkup here and they said also it's just a speck. But I didn't stop there. Luckily, I need to go home after I think a couple of weeks or after a month. I went home. Immediately I went to my OBGYN. She had to ask me to go to an ultrasound and she said, I have to schedule you for a series of tests. And then after that, it was operated. I was just so lucky that it was, benign, but it gives me peace of mind. But all throughout, like maybe I waited for a month because I can already feel it. It's like a pea size when I felt it, and then I feel like my arms is kind of, and it's to me it's kind of painful too, and my breast is different size, and so I thought like how can the speck affect the size of my two breasts? And then my doctor, the surgeon that took it home, said that it's like a size of an egg. So I said, listening to you and watching the video really tells me like, if me and Atisan, because we always had a Wednesday show that we showed it to the Filipino community, if we can really just, instill in the minds of our fellow Filipinos, both men and women, that you have to take this seriously because like an early detection really gives you peace of mind. I even told myself, I would rather to go to another operation just to receive a benign, but it gives me peace of mind. Then I have also a friend who had a stage 1 cancer of the breast and her breast was removed. But she is now like, her daughter now is same age as my daughter. Her daughter now is 24 years old and she had the breast cancer I think after she gave birth and she's still okay now. Undergoing all that and of course living a lifestyle of changing her lifestyle, changing her diet and she's now like 22 years out of the woods. Yeah. So I just want to share.
life, there is life.
Yes.
They start clearly getting treated early.
And she's wearing the bra that you were saying, Yeah. Thank you.
I was just curious about one of the ladies in the video. You were saying that she went to see a dermatologist. Yes. So I was curious, what did the dermatologist notice or
Because the doctor, the cancer specialist that she'd seen, which I don't know him, so I'm not sure how much of a cancer specialist he was. He was a doctor at Georgetown. Paget's disease is a rare, it's cancer of the nipple, and it's more of a rash. Now, it just changes nipple shape, and you do get all the symptoms that you, so I'm amazed that the doctor did not diagnose her. But he sent her to the dermatologist, who was very honest. I'm sure she's seen Paget's many times before, even though it's a rare disease, she is dermatologist, so people get sent to her with a rash. So she knew straight off the bat, she knew straight away, and Angela knew she knew. And Angela knew, she just needed that diagnosis. Because it's a rare form, it's more on the skin, like she said, it became more because there was a bit less because she was fighting to get that diagnosis. But initially it just showed as a rash on the nipple. So I just need to say, after what you've got to remember is to get it checked out. Because every rash on the nipple is not going to be Paget's disease or breast cancer. And that's the same for any woman. But it can be anything. It can be cysts, it can be, it can be cancer, it can be anything. But the key is to get it checked out and get to the bottom of it. And if it needs a biopsy, then that's the route you have to go. Because you have to be sure. I know it's easy to say, oh, the doctor doesn't think it is. Thank God. let's just walk away. No, you know, think like, you know, somebody goes, that was initially their reaction. Oh, he thinks it's nothing. And then they think, you know. And I think we've had a couple of young girls. One was, she was actually pregnant, and her mother was a breast cancer survivor at the time. She passed away as well now. And she felt well when she was pregnant. And they said, oh, you know, it's not just a milk, don't, because you're pregnant. But she sort of just knew. But the reason she had hung on is because she thought, what choice would I have? What would I do? I'm carrying this precious baby. She could have done something when we talked later, but you know, she could have maybe a little bit earlier and not done any harm. But she did the full pregnancy, gave birth, but straight back to the doctor and was diagnosed. Sadly by that time. She did actually survive until the girl was 3, maybe, but she did pass away. But that was had she not been expected, she would have kept on pushing and pushing, especially with the mum being breast cancer survivor. She would have survived 16 years before she passed away. So, that's, most of the women that we've got 300, they survive and they thrive. Obviously, there's the other side, there's few ladies that we meet. But I can tell you at least 6 or 7 of the ladies that come to us very much at the end of their life. When they were first diagnosed, they were stage 1 and 2, which is curable. But they were scared. I didn't know them. They didn't have any support, and they went the holistic route, which they were told would cure them, and they would have to go through chemotherapy. And sadly, there is no natural cure for cancer at the moment, which there was, but there isn't. And then only when they had tried the holistic way and then they collapsed, taken to hospital at that point, then we get to know them. One lady did some a whole year. It was just so sad because she was stage 1 at the diagnosis. She went to the holistic doctor and got to stage 4. And she was the same mother with a 12-year-old boy, and he was left behind. And it was, that's upsetting for me because she should still be here. You know, the other lady was, she was only 31, and her mother believed she could be cured actually, and they actually spent a good, most of the family's savings on actual treatments. And she passed away at 33. So that's just another thing. Maybe this is why I'm just going to, you know, anybody who's got a belief in churches and God, that can get you through so much. Because it can be such an inner strength that you need right then. But it's alongside the medical treatments because that is the only way. You know, there is no other way. I wish I could say there was, but it's not. So, you know, everybody has to make their own decisions with that. Some people deliberately choose not to have a treatment, they don't want to. But I think I would. You know, I'm old, really old. Not old as I am now, I'm old. I'm actually dropped off, but I'm not here yet. I've got a lot of living left to do. So I'm looking after myself. And I feel the same passion about everybody else. You know, Eleanor was in her 70s. She loves life, she's busy, she's, you know, probably she'll live another 30 years, good for her. Just everybody can make their own decisions. I like it, so just look out for yourself. And if you can't stick up for yourself, I'm sure somebody will stick up for you. Because I'm like a dog with a bone. They don't, sometimes when I got to help people's doors, they will still with the gorgeous scenario. But I don't care. Because it's not what matters. What matters is getting that person seen and getting that diagnosis. And if it turns out to be negative, then yay, that's great. But you've got to keep pushing.
My question is about the family history that you said that you used to check. Should it only concern breast cancer? Because
sorry, I missed that first bit.
The gene,
Yes. That is it's called the BRCA1 and 2. That's how we.
so if it's a different cancer, it will
It's just a
become goes into the breast. Or my brother-in-law actually and my brother also died of acute lymphomatic leukemia, so I was thinking about his children too. And because we're siblings, so
The best thing to do is talk to your own doctor, ask them about the possibilities of that, and what the is inherited or can be inherited. Again, it's asking the questions and saying, do you think we should be tested? But again, if you are tested, all that's going to do is make you more aware, but you should be more aware anyway, because we know that we have many breast cancer patients who've got a sister or a mother who've been breast cancer. Well, like Anya, who I just talked about, her mother was a breast cancer survivor. She was negative for that gene, and yet here she was, mother and daughter, both with breast cancer. My best friend, the same. Her mother and her, both with breast cancer, and no fault of their gene. No, it's not fixed that if that you're going to have that faulty gene. But I'm a big one for. Is it forewarned is forearmed? So I had no qualms about taking that test because I wanted to know. I wanted to know if my chances were higher than the next lady, then I could,
Is that test expensive?
It is, yes it is. I have to say, we've got a deal with if you want to know, there is a charity in the US we work with directly, and this is the difference. I think if you go through insurance, it's about $5,000. For us, the charity that one of our survivors found for us, it's $330 US. And it's the same. But it's a charity. So that's how they can do it for less. But I have that contact with them. So you just have to email me, I'll send you the link. But they do it for $330 US.
Because last year I was diagnosed with endometrial carcinoma, and I had my operation, chemotherapy, and radiation in the Philippines. And it's a stage 1B.
Yeah. Oh, so
It's like curable. Then I come back here and I'm still here.
Yes.
That's why my hair was like this. Yeah, it's growing.
Yeah. So they don't do cold counseling?
No, they don't have it. Yeah.
Well, it's really strange that because we've had it in England for about 60 years.
I think they have it. It's expensive. I didn't ask them. I asked them, but they say it's free here.
Well, because we bought them. So we bought them, and that's the condition.
But you don't test. Huh?
So a lot of people don't realize that in Cayman,
Yeah.
the advantage is so high
Yes.
because you provide a lot of.
Yeah, and Julie, again, with Julie and I did an interview the other day on the rush hour, and she was saying that if she got stuck here because of COVID. She used to live here all the time, but then she started travelling and living in England and I think Spain. She got stuck here with COVID and she was diagnosed here. And she said, I realised I'm actually very lucky to be diagnosed here because we got her in for all the tests, all the scans immediately. There was no delay. We have direct contact with her oncologist. We have direct contact with her surgeon. You don't get that in a lot of countries. If I was in England, I would not have the surgeon at my breast cancer unit's phone number or email. That would never happen. But here you do. And Dr. Vanessa, I believe the oncologist at Health City, she said to me one time, she said, the people here are not just my patients, they become your family. And she has that same passion. And that's what you want in your oncologist. You want them to have that passion. To care.
That's why I have to go to the office.
Yeah. There's some good ones here now. There really is some good ones here. Very passionate.
And what they don't have is that Cayman have Miss Jeanette Fitzgerald,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, I am. Yeah. Probably run the other way when they see me now.
Listening to you, ma'am, I can sense your passion
Yeah.
and dedication. This awareness and helping out, especially women.
Yes.
Because sometimes women we usually worry about it. We think about kids, we think about the house, you know, all of the whole responsibility of a mother.
And you come right down the line, I know. But you think what it'd be like when if you weren't here?
Yes.
Yeah, you'd not be the same. It'd all fall down without you.
I hope we can get some more like information from you, so we can
You know where we are?
disseminate.
Yeah, we're right next to Papa John's at Grand Harbour. Cannot miss it. So, spread the word. We've got the list. Anybody who mentions it.
Hurley's, right?
Yeah, right by Hurley's. Just send them to us. Well, it's Friday, but I all the time. Okay.
Jing,
Right, then, well, thank you.
can you, Jing, can you?
Thank you also. What you interview?
Yeah, like, Can you go a little bit here?
Okay. In behalf of the Cayman Bayanihan, the Filipino community, we are so grateful and so blessed and honored as well to have you with us tonight and to give us really not only a very empowering information, but I hope this will open eyes and give courage to our fellow Filipinos to have yourself checked, right?
Yes, definitely.
And we're so lucky that we get to meet. Oh my God, Miss Fitzgerald is really a blessing not only to us but to the island. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Anytime, just where we are,
Mhm.
and I'll come, speak to.
Yes.
To the ladies
And
anytime.
guys, if you want a private conversation with Miss Jen, you can always visit her it's at the just next to Papa John's, and just go to Hurley's, look for Papa John's there behind. You can see the pink
Yeah.
office there.
Yeah.
And it's so very comfy. Me and Ate Sani had really a nice time there. And the staff there are so nice and very accommodating.
Yes.
Thank you so
Welcome.
much,
Thank you for
ma'am.
having
Thank
me.
you so much. Thank you.
All right. You're very welcome.
All the best. All the best. And ma'am, just in case you need people that will help you with dissemination, and if you have any fund drives, Bayanihan will be there.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
All right. Thank you.
Have a good night, folks. And we will see you tomorrow on our 7:30 Damayan program. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.